We call to order tonight's meeting of the Portland City Council for our first regular scheduled meeting for the month of November 2014. Would you stand for the prayer and pledge?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Our Father in heaven, we're so thankful for this day and all the blessings that we have. So thankful for this fall time of the year and the beauty of the leaves and all around us in this part of the country. So thankful for our community and the city of Portland and everything in it. Be with us tonight as we go through this meeting. Help us always to try to do the things that are best for our community as a whole. Most of all, we thank for thy Son, Jesus Christ. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Ms. King.
Alderman Bratton.
Here.
Alderman Callis.
Here.
Alderman Harvin. Vice Mayor McDowell. Alderman Menace.
Here.
Alderman White.
All right, thank you. Next, the approval of minutes of October the 7th and 14th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, deletions, additions on the minutes?
Yes, sir. I received a call today from Vice Mayor McDowell, and he has requested that item E under legislative be deleted tonight because that's something that he brought up and he wants to be present so he can
Okay. All right, that's on the agenda. Well, that's next. Right now it's the minutes. We're voting on the minutes.
All right, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. We'll catch it next. So anybody got anything with the minutes of the meeting? Okay, all in favor say aye.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Opposed? All right, next is approval of the agenda. Do they have a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved.
Do they have a second?
Second.
Okay, we had a request to pull item E in legislative deal with the driver's license. All right, so we will, if it's okay with everybody, we'll take that off tonight. Let's deal with that. Okay. And I do want to add one item. There's a resolution laid before you, 13-115, about paving on Ranch Road, an item that came up actually late Friday. So I want to discuss, I'd like to add that on the end of legislative 13-115. Does anyone else have any changes to the agenda? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, reports. Do we have a motion to approve the reports?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments on our reports? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have communications from mayor and alderman. Does any alderman wish to address the public on any issue tonight? Or just address them, might be an issue. I will, tonight we have our council meeting which started at 6. Then immediately for the public, and immediately following the council meeting, we're going to have a work study, which that will not be on the hours. Our work studies are not. So we'll take probably about a 5-minute break, and then we'll get right into our work study. If not, at this time, if anyone in the audience would like to address the council on an item on the agenda tonight, you may do so at this time. We'll ask you to come to the podium at this time if you'd like to address the council on any item on the agenda tonight. Okay, if not, we'll move on. First item under Public Works is a resolution. Mr. Bratton.
Okay, item 1 is a resolution to hire a full-time sewer collection employee for the city of Portland. Makes a motion to approve that resolution.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, the gentleman's name is Joe Roden. How you pronounce that?
Roden.
Roden, okay. He's here tonight, Joe Roden, so this is the person that the mayor is recommending to hire for full-time sewer collection.
Okay, any comments, discussions, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next we had Do not have a resolution. We passed a resolution on some repair pavement for North Russell Street. As you're aware, I did veto that resolution, do some things that came up with the person involved in the contract. And talking to our attorney, Mr. Amonette, he feels that we do need to rebid that work instead of taking the next lowest bidder. And David, if you've got any other comments.
Is that gonna get us into an issue with?
Talk to, do what?
I mean, was that gonna get us into an issue with time frame as far as? Just 'cause
Talked
we're
to
into
them
November.
today. With that process, the only thing may be if some asphalt plant's not running at the time, but with the way they heat it, he can do it through different times, as long as it's not freezing below. But he said some of them are doing their own asphalt on site with that, so feels like we ought to go ahead and bid it.
We'll have time, we'll be okay, is
Right.
what you're saying.
So we'll put that out for bid just as quick as we can get it out. Has anyone got any comments on? I think I got one more, Mr. Bratton.
Okay, ordinance 13-37 is the ordinance authorizing a contract proposal between the city of Portland with Goodwin Mills and K-Wood Inc. for the geotechnical study for the city of Portland's dam. Make a motion to approve this.
Second.
And let the mayor expand on it.
I have a motion and a second. We have a issue where our dam at the City Lake is having some water seep through it, and we through the engineering company has recommended doing some borings. The base boring cost is $14,035. Depending on what they find there, they may have to do a couple extra borings. So we're asking this ordinance be passed with a maximum of $20,000. Hopefully it'll only be the 14 and 35, but depending on what we find, maybe. So, does anyone have any questions?
So it's just seepage.
Seepage right now. We need to find where that's coming at, so try to get it.
Could be bad.
Could be.
And I think when we talked in our work study, and I think Melvin had brought up some good points, he was really concerned that boring, that they could really find that seepage through there. And so, how many bores are they doing total? Is it 5 or 6?
Thomas, I don't have that in this pack. I had a work study.
I can't remember right off the top of my head. I do believe it's going to be like 4 or 5 across the crest. There will also be some across the face, and then also some at the toe. And then the borings, it won't make anything any worse. What they're going to do is either grout fill the holes back, or in some areas, not all of them, put piezometers, which all that is, it just allows you to see how high the water's getting and how fast it's moving through there. And in that way, you just keep a good idea of the integrity of it. Plus, when they do the bores, they'll pull a sample and they'll run tests on it to see the strength of the soil and everything. And that'll give you a lot better idea. And we can find pretty quickly about if the dam's in good shape or not. And the piezometers will just give you a long-term surveillance of it. Currently, right now, there's 3 in the crest, but you need them in the slope and also at the toe, because a lot of your seepage doesn't necessarily go through the dam. It could go underneath it as well.
Okay, I think Melvin, you want to make a comment? Did you want to make a comment?
No.
Okay. Did he answer your?
I don't know why, if there's no sign of it coming up anywhere, why we think it's leaking so bad.
It is coming up.
It's coming up, boiling up.
It's not boiling up, but it's seeping into a vault that we've installed. There is water leaking, and it's made us curious to see how bad it is. And that's what this study's going to do, let us know the extent of it.
Melvin, do you remember how long it's been since they grouted that out there?
It's been longer than we were thinking, because we went back and tried to find, I was thinking it'd been.
Probably in the late 80s.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like in the 90s, but we went all the way back
No.
and we couldn't find anything there.
It was on back in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah, it's quite a bit further back than I thought it was.
We really need to get with Melvin and let him write all this stuff down, because you remember all this stuff.
I don't remember everything.
Well, I know, but you remember a whole lot more than we do, and so sometimes we don't have records of it.
What he's saying, we need to write it down before you remember it.
Mid to late 80s is 5 years span.
So you covered yourself, didn't you?
All right. Any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have one item under Parks. You want to do it, Brian?
It's fine.
No more.
Resolution 13-105, a resolution to hire a part-time parks maintenance employee for the city of Portland. Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. And that would be a person by the name of Thomas Hall. I believe he is here tonight. Introduce himself. All right, any other comments or questions?
I just wonder, this time of year, there's no mowing. How many full-time people do we have?
Well, he's just part-time. He's replaced.
I know, but I mean, how many full-time people do we have?
Steve.
5 full-time maintenance people?
Well, we've got several projects I know they're undertaking with the swimming pool and the gym and some work. And I mean, they've got quite a few indoor projects they're going to try to get done this winter. So.
I concur in his concerns that the mowing season's over with and we're hiring help. As that,
Right.
it does look, it does appear that maybe early spring would have been a better time if they was in a bind. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm certain that there's probably a lot of projects in the parks that go on during the wintertime that I don't know about, as far as maintenance things that can't be done in the spring or summer when everything's in full swing. I mean, it just seems like that'd be the likely time that a lot of things are maintained.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
that
Yeah,
doesn't seem that far-fetched to me.
Right, so. All right, any other comments or questions? Put out for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thought you was gonna get one against, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Well, it's a good question, so.
Well, it really was,
It is.
You know,
Steve, just kind of keep
Debatable.
us
Tell you that.
updated on the projects you're doing so we can kind of see, sure what's going on. All right, we got one under public safety. Mike, will you-
Resolution number 13-106, a resolution to authorize the mayor to file a joint application with the Sumner County government to the CDBG for funding construction of a facility to house the Sumner County Emergency Medical Services and the Portland Fire Department on the proposed location just south of J.W. Wiseman Elementary on South Broadway. Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Basically what this was, where we're jointly looking at a ammo station and a fire hall on the south side, and all we're doing right now is applying for a grant through the Community Block Development Plan, see if we can get a grant to share with the county for that facility. Any other comments or questions?
Was it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
For years now, we've been hearing how bad we need a satellite station out on Bond Drive. How come it's being moved right here in town?
Well, we're still working on that one out there, but this one, being a joint effort with the county, to actually get our radius and coverage, would be best to have one on the south and one on the north. The one on the north, we're still working on, and, Al's been doing some work on that in your
Is
presentation.
this gonna be a fully staffed satellite station?
Yes, but you won't have the one there, you won't have 3, you'll still just have 2 if we go through with both plans. It'll be one on the north and one on the south. It'll give you your ideal coverage.
Yeah, but I mean, both of them will be fully staffed.
Right.
And then when we get the third one, it'll be fully staffed.
No, we're just talking about 2.
I know we're talking about 2 now, but
Well, I mean, if the city grows down the road at some point, it could be 3, but right now,
we've
it's
been
just 2.
hearing for years that we needed one bad out there.
Well, we do, but
And
this
this is just
has
come
been
up.
with a joint effort with the county, getting the land given to you, and if we can get grant money, so foundation's already agreeing to put in so much money, so the money thing is flowing this one a little bit more, so.
Well, the grant is good to pay for the building, but the grant ends when the men go to work, and that's when the overtime starts. And the fire department now is getting as much more overtime than the police department, and they got 40 people over there.
Well, that depends, we've been through that. That's the shifts, the way they get paid, A, B, and C shifts, the way their weeks work. So it's just part of being the fire department. But all we're doing right now is just applying for the grant. Of course, anything approved will have to be approved by this body. All we're doing right now is just making an application.
Was you also going to prepare some type of resolution requesting, is it the county going to make that request from the school board, or we not going to be a part of that as far as the donating the land?
Like Mr. Amonette met with Al and Keith Douglas to help prepare a resolution for the school board to make that request.
So you think the county's going to make it?
Right.
Is that?
Well, I prepared a proposed resolution for the Board of Education to approve. I've sent that to Al and to Keith Douglas for their review and comments, and once I receive those, we'll then forward it to, I assume, Leah Denning. It'll kind of go through channels before it goes to the Board of Education.
You mean, not Leah, but?
Well, Jim Fuqua
Yeah.
is the school board attorney,
Yeah.
but I think because of the nature of this, it may have to go through Leah's office as well.
Okay.
But I actually sent that out today, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so it's a joint request?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. All right, anything else on our public safety?
No, sir, thank you.
All right. Next we go to legislative. Resolution 13-108. It's a resolution support of pull the wrong one up. It's a resolution authorizing certificate of compliance for Angela Robertson of Portland Wine and Spirits located 144 Knight Street, Portland, Tennessee. Have a motion, get it on the floor.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
This is where they have to apply for a renewal for certificate of compliance. Ms. Robertson has done that. She's met all the guidelines and all the information has been requested for this certificate of compliance. Does anyone have any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, resolution 13-109. It's a resolution to adopt the Tennessee Department of Transportation small purchase procurement procedure in accordance with the local government guidelines form 1-2 for a consultant for the state routes to school project to serve Watt Harrison Elementary School. Do we have a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
What it is, we received a Safe Routes to School grant for some sidewalks around Watt Hardison School. This is a 100% project from the state. In order to, one of the next items going to be is to get a consultant for this project, and this is just saying that we will follow the state's guidelines for the small purchase for this, go by their process.
I understand all this work will be on the east end from Riggs.
Yes.
I mean, from
Gibson, yes. Right. And like I say, it is 100%, but we have to follow the state guidelines in the way we go about this, and that's what this is saying. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is Resolution 13-110. It's a resolution appointing appointment of one member to fill an unexpired term on the Cable Commission. We had one member that asked to come off of it, was Mr. Alan Dyer, and I'm recommending former City Councilman Tim Coker to fill that spot as an educator. Tim was on there, but he was as a council person, so he's now going to stay on there, but in another role. So ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a second?
Second.
I think I heard you say. Any discussions or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is Resolution 13-111. It's a resolution to approve reappointment of 2 members to the Cable Commission. I'm asking to approve another term for Jackie Wilbur and Brent O'Hara. That's for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item E, we're going to take up at the next meeting. Next is Resolution 13-113. It's a resolution to hire a city engineer for the city of Portland. Have a motion to get it on the floor.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
I recommend to you that we hire a city engineer, Mr. Brian Price, who is a certified, qualified engineer of the city of Portland. We interviewed 3 candidates, and there was a panel of people who sat in on an interview, and he was unanimously the high of all ones involved. And so I recommend to hire him, the city engineer, at a starting salary of $64,000 a year, and with a 2 weeks vacation, which we've been doing for those type of positions. And Mr. Price is here. He was the one, you've already heard him speak a little bit. And he seems to be a very qualified person. And he is excited. He's already been looking at property up in this area, and he's excited about moving up into the Portland area.
Good.
So any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Brian, would you like to say anything?
I've been doing work for the city now for, I think, about 4 years, and I'll be honest with you, ever since I first did the first project I ever did up here was on 109 from 76 to 52. And for some reason, Portland kind of resonated with me. I really like the area. I'm looking forward to moving up here and looking forward to getting to know all of y'all a little bit better. A few of you up here I know, a lot of you I don't, so I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to seeing more of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the add-on resolution of 13-115. A resolution to approve paving for a portion of Ranch Road from the end of the airport construction to Denning Ford Road. Can I get it on the floor and I'll talk a little bit more about it? Have a
So
motion?
moved.
Have a second?
Second.
As all of you know, that we're having work done out at the airport, and for the construction, where they widen the road around there and doing the end. We're going to have a section between there and Denning Ford, which was paved, not too long ago, that's going to be unpaved, that is in the city. Rogers Group will be doing the paving on the airport. They've got the contract for that, and also that's who we have our yearly contract. So Doug made me aware of this Friday, and so we called him and got a price of $13,000 to pave that section. And we do have some money in State Street Aid. And while they're there paving, it would be best, I think, go ahead and have it paved to have it all good instead of a good section, bad section, good section. And so I would ask the council to consider approving this for them to pave it while they're there working. Mr.
You got a motion or you need one?
No, we've got a
Oh,
motion.
you don't.
Now, the portion that they're not going to pave is from
Denning
Denning
Ford
Ford.
to that section
to the section there
at the curve.
at the curb.
Right.
I was out there yesterday, and I was going to bring that up. I have a concern with us paying that when their construction demolished that road. I mean, it may have been in took the typical shape that some of our roads in, but because of the heavy equipment back and forth, it's in a lot worse shape than it would have been before the project. So for us just to bear all of that, I apologize for
That's
springing
fine.
this on you, but
That's the reason we brought it out for discussion.
yeah, well, I was just out there, and it just seemed to me that, if they were out anywhere else, and if they were anywhere else, we probably wouldn't have let them utilize that road the way they used it, but because it was closed, they utilized it as they saw fit. And it does need paving, but a lot of it due to construction. Now, it may not be something they can do, but I do have concerns with that.
We can speak to
All right,
that.
Doug.
Okay, we got it in our contract for them to put it back is patching it, and they're probably gonna do that with tar and chip, provided we don't do this. So we have got pictures and everything from day one. They have done some damage, but it ain't as bad as what I hoped it would be. But we got pictures and we're still talking with them on it, so we're trying to get help out of it. But just in case that falls through, we wanted to have this other already in place where we wouldn't have to come back and do it later.
Well, we wouldn't accept tar and chip, would we?
They can put it back tar and chip, or equal or better than what it was from our pictures. So a lot of that's in the middle that's chipped up wasn't to do with them. You have to look where the truck is.
Trust me,
But we do have pictures.
I mean, I looked at it, and, you know, my thing is typically when you tell, if we pass a resolution, tell them we're gonna pay for it, you know, then we're gonna pay for it. If we choose not to pay for it, then it's more talk before that contract is closed.
If we pave it and our pictures prove different to what we got now and before and after, they'll have to generate the money that was gonna take to fix that back into our contract that we got with on the airport side. Because that was outside of the airport side, it's outside of our project area.
And not to be argumentative, but pictures is not indicative of what an inspection of the road would be. If we were gonna do that, we should have had it inspected prior. If we knew there was contingent upon that.
We did have it inspected.
Okay, so you had someone.
We got documentation.
Well, I'm saying now you're saying we had pictures, but I'm saying did we inspect it before and we inspected after?
We will inspect it whenever they get ready to do it. That's,
okay, you see my concern.
yeah, it's my concern too.
So we
'cause
should be able to get a little bit of
I'm hoping we get some
money
back
out
out
of
of
the
it.
contract.
Originally, they was gonna pay for 8,000, we was gonna pay for 8,000, because my bid through Jones Brothers was $16,000 that the state would not pay because it's outside the project area. So that's the reason we're up here doing this now. But we're still trying to get the state to force them to do it.
If that's the case, then I don't know if I won't necessarily do
So
anything on our end right now until I figure out who's doing what where, I guess.
it was just the fact getting it done while they was there, because if you let them pull them off and make them go back and set up, it costs you extra money.
I understand, but I'm also, my fear is we pay $13,000, we don't get a dime back once it's already done. There's now we got $8,000 roughly, if we're saying half and half, and we go off a $16,000
Yeah, but I can't
bid.
get the half and half. State's done denied that.
From that, but somebody has to
So basically,
pony up for the repair.
it's basically they can go back with tar and chip and just bring it back to where it was.
They can't
They can't tar and chip it.
streets.
I don't
They
believe
can't
it.
tar and chip
It
it,
That's
has to be
not-
paid.
Based on putting it
We
back
don't
just
let
like it
parking
was.
lots do it.
That's what you got out there.
Well, you talking about the middle of the road, the damage? You know what caused that? Pumping.
Pushing it up.
All that weight pushing it up.
And my thing is not the state, they may not go, my issue is with the contractor, not with the state. Simply
Right.
because the state won't pay it. If the contractor's torn up roads.
Well, we can
they-
bring it back later if you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
table it.
I mean-
And they just have to come back. If they don't take care of it,
Yeah, and before they close the project out, this has to be resolved. Now, I know it's a big project, and they're not gonna let a few dollars like this keep them from closing the project out, but, I mean, I was just out there, I was just gonna see how it was going, and that's the first thing I saw that, it's,
When do we think the pavings, when's the paving crew gonna be out there?
they should start this next week. They may be
So-
doing some work tomorrow.
So we ought to be able to make a phone
Based on
call,
rain.
then and say, listen, this is the limit we're in, and, we expect our streets to be.
Well, they're working on it as we speak.
Yeah,
But
and so.
I just found that out today.
We might wanna
Sorry you
just
didn't know about that.
Hold up here before we do take any action tonight. I mean, that's just.
well, I don't want it to cost us any money, but yet, these guys tore streets up, and the contractors tore the streets up with that heavy equipment, and we would not, the county nor the city would not let that type of heavy equipment run over their streets to begin with. They would just say, no, you can't run over them. But if they run on them, then you have to completely repair them. And that's what tore the streets up, and I don't know about the
They didn't
state.
tear
and
the
all-
other streets up.
Beg your pardon?
Didn't tear up Airport Road going out there.
Well, I was out there during construction. I'm not gonna debate it. The heavy equipment tore the streets up. I mean, it's just that simple. How many loads of red clay was hauled in there, Mary, you estimate?
Doesn't give you.
None.
So I guess they dropped that from a helicopter somewhere.
No, they brought it down the side of the runway.
Yeah, well, when I was out there, I seen
They haul
pans.
gravel on
I
it.
seen pans even up and down that street.
Not on that
Track
part.
hose. I seen one sitting there. I was out there. I monitored.
On
each
my
one.
part,
Yeah, okay.
on the new part, and they're paving it.
Okay.
They're paving
My
it.
point is, let's just see what they'll do.
Yeah, well, we're doing
That's
that.
fine, I mean,
And I don't think we need to accept oil and chip under no conditions.
no,
It's in the county. It's not our say. Is that?
No, that's all, that's in the
it's in the
city.
city, that
Okay.
part's in the city.
County starts on the other side.
Right, yeah, it's in, because I double checked that today to be sure, because I knew we stopped them. Well, let's just, have a motion table then.
It's paved.
Yeah, I motion,
Do
make a
we
motion
want
to defer.
Do we want to do something to let the mayor handle it? Because he knows our concerns. Or do you want to just take it?
If he can't handle it, then it's gonna be pushed out to the next meeting, which will probably be too late to use them.
Be
if
next
they're still
Monday
out there.
night.
That's
No,
our,
we're not
that's our,
meeting next week, remember? It'll be the week after.
I mean, I'm not being I just know that.
No, I mean, we need to know what they're gonna do.
I agree, we just need, I think we need to put it in order where it can be handled. If we find out that it needs to be handled while they're out there, rather than cost us a bunch of money for them to come back out, and we miss our deadline because we has to wait till the next meeting.
And two, we're gonna have a window where it's dry and they can pave, and I know that's what they're concerned with, is getting finished paving, and I'm not trying to hold that up.
Right.
But do we want to do something where that the mayor can, would you be okay with that?
Let's
you-
negotiate, if we can't get it negotiated, we won't do anything unless we can get some,
Yeah, you know
Some
our
type of-
concerns and,
right.
okay.
We should at least be able to get the cost of proper repair
Repair and all the
taken
money
off
that-
of the cost.
Right,
We should at least be able to get that.
off the, okay.
And thank you, Doug. I love you too.
Do we need to take action? Do we need to defer this, or what do we want to do about this that we have on the floor
You had a
right
motion
now?
to defer.
Second.
There was, got a second. Non-debatable.
It is now. So all in favor of deferring, say aye.
Aye.
So that kills it all right there.
Well, no, you don't, I thought you just deferring this, but you can take action between, that's on that particular resolution of paving of
Right.
13,000.
Right.
That don't disregard you from taking action between something.
It didn't
Right,
pass.
but do we still want to try to pave it?
Between, you talking about by passing
Apparently,
this?
this side didn't vote yea or nay, so we need a
didn't
clear
pass.
motion,
Okay.
and then we can vote yea or nay.
All right, we got a motion, a second to defer, it's non-debatable, so we're.
Okay, to defer.
Right.
Well, we gotta have a deferral to what date? I thought you were gonna think about deferring to the next meeting, which would be 2 weeks.
Well, I think, what I understood was
What did you understand?
that we was gonna go ahead and maybe look at paving, if we could get them to pay some money. He was gonna let me be able to negotiate, if we could get some money toward this, and we're gonna go ahead and go with the project.
Yeah,
Not only if we could get some money toward offsetting it.
yeah, my wish is to vote down the deferral, to vote the deferral down, and then offer another motion, since it's on the floor.
What's on the floor is to actually approve paying. Is that not correct?
The full 13,000, but we want to amend that now.
So what you're doing is you want to make a motion to amend to allow the mayor to negotiate.
Right.
You want to amend the
Gotta get
original
rid of the
motion.
deferral first.
Right.
Well, I think there was confusion as to what was being done.
Right.
I thought it was being deferred to the next regular meeting because in the meantime, the mayor would negotiate something and then you would vote on the final decision of the mayor at that meeting.
It's going to be 2 weeks to the meeting, so what I thought I was going to try to do, depending on the weather and all, if we could get something worked out and get an amount from them, we could go ahead and move forward.
We have two options. I think that we need to withdraw the first and the
Right.
second on the deferral, or we need to vote it down.
Right.
So,
I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Who made the second?
I withdraw my second.
All right, so we're back to original where
Are
we
you
are.
gonna make an amendment on what the original, it's on the floor right now.
it's the original. I'm gonna amend the original to allow the mayor to negotiate what he perceives to be in the best interest of the city.
Okay.
Not to exceed, what was that amount that was on there?
13.
Huh?
13.
13,000.
And not to move forward unless we get some type of concession from the
Yeah.
contractor.
But so that you're understanding, because there's clarity, because you just gave him leeway to take care of this resolution that we're not even acting on up to the amount that the resolution states. And I don't think that's what we're deciding on here tonight. I think what we're deciding on, we've already recognized that, at minimum, they're in it for half. At maximum, they're in it for all of it. And so we're not wanting him to negotiate for 13,000.
No,
That's not what
Well,
you're saying.
here's my concern about that. If they say no, they're not gonna negotiate, they say no, we're not gonna participate in that. We'll either patch the road or nothing. Then we're gonna lose money because this company's gonna go packing if we don't allow him to attempt to negotiate, and if there is no negotiation, I mean, he's going to do the best he can either way, which is probably gonna be the best that we can as a body to negotiate this price down. I agree
Well,
with
let me say this.
I agree with what you're saying. I think we just need to
Well, we know an
put
area
it
where
put it at the maximum of the amount of the resolution with no contingency that it has to be negotiated down for you to accept it. I mean, if there's no negotiations, I'd rather pay 13,000 than it come back and be 16,000 because I got to reset up the equipment. If they're not willing to negotiate, and we have no control over that.
Well, they should be, because they've got to spend some money regardless, so they should be able
Regardless,
to.
they've got to spend.
I
They've got to
understand,
spend
and
some
I feel like they will. But what I'm saying is, I have no doubt that they're going to negotiate. But if for some reason they said they weren't going to negotiate, there's no reason for us to tie the mayor's hands on this and say, well, if they don't come down by X amount, then we don't need to approve it, because eventually we're going to have to pave this road, and they don't have to budge on their end.
Yeah, they do.
They do, because we don't have to close the contract.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's at the end
We'll
of the
spend
day.
that 30,000 instead of that 3. That makes sense. I just
hate
say put it in the
I
mayor's
hate to
hands, let
stir
him
this
handle it.
up, but I do think it needs to be addressed.
Right.
I agree. I just think it
Right.
needs to be put in the mayor's hands and let him negotiate it, and they will negotiate. But if for some reason they won't, I don't want it to be held up on a technicality. I'd like to get the road paved while the paving crews are here instead of it costing us more in the long run.
Doug, you think we can have a conversation tomorrow with them?
We'll talk to them, we'll get answers quick.
Okay.
What was your amendment?
Did you make a motion for the mayor to negotiate with him?
Well, yeah, it was, but what Mike is saying that we need to negotiate from 8 down rather than from 8 up.
Right.
Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
that was my concern.
That's what I understand. That's what I
Plus, the
understand y'all's direction
eight's already
is.
given, so if you go out there and say, what about 8, they gonna say, sure, you know.
That's what I understand it, my charge to be.
Okay.
It's negotiate up from
No,
8.
they negotiate down.
Yes.
I mean, down, I'm
Down,
sorry.
right.
Down.
Yes.
Y'all got meat up and down. But, I mean, I want you guys to be comfortable. I just feel like we
Well, I
all,
think with the mayor's understanding of that situation, because we're talking about a $1,500 mobilization fee that, you know, at the end of the day, if they tore it up, they need to repair it, and I know we're not gonna let them
Right.
tar and chip it.
No, so,
So, I mean, I don't see that taking place.
okay.
But we'll see, I guess. There's been stranger things happen.
All right, we have a motion to amend. Does everybody understand the motion to amend? Do we have a second?
I
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any other discussions on the amendment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now,
And
any other
thank you.
discussion
Thank you,
on the overall? Since we amend, we need to go back and approve the overall resolution. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We took care of what you,
I got you. Thank you, Mira. Just play hardball.
I will. I can.
I know you.
Don't be no sissy.
One more item, for the regular meeting. Brian, you want to talk about the airport?
Resolution number 13-114, a resolution in support of grant application to Tennessee Department of Transportation Aeronautics Division for additional funding through the Vision 100 funds for the construction of the new terminal building. Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is there any discussions or questions? Anybody want a question for Doug on this? I think it's something we've discussed.
Come on, Doug. I love you, Doug. I'm not like
Oh, he's
Luther.
back.
I'm not gonna beat you.
Well, you're a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Okay, this is our entitlement money for 2014 that we're going after this time. Right now, we're up to $941,667. We're gonna rebid the terminal building here in January. We think it's gonna be around $1 million, hopefully this time. When we go after this other $150,000, which is a total, counting our match and the state max of $667,000, that'll bring our total up to $1,108,334. That should pay for this building when we get done. No guarantees, because I don't know how the bids will come in. but,
Sure. Oh, well, do we need, we have a motion?
No,
It's 9555. so.
I move to approve.
We've got a motion. and a
That's right,
second on the
that's
floor.
right, we did on that.
We have, okay.
Right.
Thanks,
other
Luther,
comments
for
or questions?
confusing us again.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Appreciate it, thank y'all. And I do have my match for it.
Okay.
Already. in
Doug, who
mind.
tore up the terminal building is what I want.
We're gonna tear it down.
All right, this concludes the business. Anybody else got anything for the meeting? Like I say, we will have a work study immediately following. We'll take about a 5-minute break and then ask you to come back in here. So without adjourn, we adjourn.
Oh, man.